Hey folks, it's Mr. Muff. I'm bringing you a 3 versus 3 in the Operation Market Garden mod for Company of Heroes. I have today a match on Breakcourt. It was posted a couple weeks ago. Nobody seems to have gotten around to it, and it was posted by players. 2 different players posted it from opposite sides of the match, so hopefully this will be a good one with no hints on which way it's going to go. On the axis, we have Snarks, Sneakerhead, and Whiskey Jack. Starting with infantry support with Panzerschrecks and support weapons, a Panzer IV with some infantry and a machine gun, and some Panzer Grenadiers with a mortar half-track. On the allies, we've got Lieutenant Underpants. Oh, what are you doing, keyboard? There we go. Lieutenant Underpants starting with a Sherman escorted by some Rangers. On the left, we've got Matron. I didn't look at the player names. Underpants, Matron, and Crazy Ivan, starting with 2 Shermans, a Staghound, starting with overrepair out of the gate, and a whole bunch of rifles. So, we've also got some universal carriers. Saw those in a recent game. I see some burn sections in this one. I don't see any Piats. Here's the other Piat. So I suspect, well, let's just go ahead and hit play and see what happens. I suspect we're going to see some more button Piat flanking shenanigans. But let's get the taskbar back up and get going. So Whiskey Jack is scouting down the middle of the map with his Schirmwagen to see what he can see. Let's see if he finds these armored vehicles. We'll switch to his perspective. That's probably a little bit more straightforward. He does see them, and they see him. So the Axis are aware of the universal carriers, the Rangers, this Sherman. Let's see what they do in response. Sneakerhead advancing fearlessly on the Sherman to try to get some hits in with the Panzerfaust. Looks like the team is starting to shift left a little bit with this Panzer IV, which they definitely need to do because the Allies are pushing real hard over here with a heavy flank from this Sherman coming around the back while Underpants' Sherman engages from the front. Ivan's Sherman is getting caught up with a bunch of Panzerschrecks, though. He wants to get this escorting infantry in there to screen. But it looks like Underpants has backed out of this fight. He's pulled his Rangers out of, I assume, being suppressed by that machine gun, so they've got fire up expiring here. So that's just sort of left Crazy Ivan overextended all the way in the back here. I would like to see him, if he can coordinate with his team, and his team wants to get aggressive with him, I would like to see him just push hard around this flank here and start shooting some of these units in the back while the rest of his teammates get up in the front. But at the moment, the Allies seem content to just sort of cap up this territory and just sort of have the Axis surrounded. Conversely, the Axis seems to feel rather content just sort of balling up into this death ball here. Crazy Ivan seems a little bit wary to engage this Panzer IV, as perhaps he should be, because that he knows that the enemy has an AT gun. I suspect he's going to just try to get his Sherman out of there. But Underpants' Sherman did go down, so we'll see what he brings on to replace it. It's some infantry. I imagine those engineers are meant to build a healing station of some kind. Yes, this Sherman is going to struggle against this Panzer IV quite a lot. So it looks like Ivan is just going to try to do as much damage to these Panzerschrecks as he can with the infantry that he has left. While the Axis just sort of coalesce. They've sort of fortified. I think their main attention is on this Sherman here. It's just sort of letting the Allies regroup, heal up their troops. I don't think this Sherman is going to make it. See something coming down the road over here, though. That's the Staghound. Looks like it hit a mine. Yeah, there goes the Sherman. So, Staghound hit a mine. Unlucky there. It looks like all it did was damage the engine, and the rest of its health is fine. But it's got 3 kills. I think it came around and got something, because I heard some gunfire over here. I'm not entirely sure what that was. Well, this is interesting. So Ivan is an American player. He's infantry. To my knowledge, the only truck emplacement that infantry gets is the howitzer. And I'm really hoping right now that this is not 2 howitzers. There's 1. Last game, goodness gracious, we are not but 4.5 minutes in, and we have 2 infantry howitzers on from Crazy Ivan. This is taking up almost all of his population. Besides this, he's just got an ambush rifle and a machine gun. His teammates are going to be having to pull double time, trying to hold up the front line here while these howitzers are on cooldown. We saw last game that double howitzers from the Axis did not overall in the end pay off in their favor, so we'll have to see if the Allies manage to make it work. But I am highly skeptical, so let's see if this opening barrage can pull anything off. Looks like some clean misses. Everything is going to get out of the way. So some probing moves from the rifleman from Lieutenant Underpants, screening for the Rangers. They reveal the Creetvets. He's going to pull these back amongst the rest of these sort of units here to let the mortars safely pin this stuff down. So here comes the second barrage. Snarks, I'm sure, assuming he was safe after he moved his mortar the first time. And it seems as though he is still safe after moving his mortar the second time. So 2 rather ineffectual barrages. 2 kills on the second one. 3 kills, and that's a Self-Panzerschreck. But that is... I think these are 9 pop apiece, something to that effect. Well, it can't be because he's got this stuff here. I'm gonna estimate maybe it's 7 or so, right? We'll stick with 7. That's 14 pop here out of 28. That's half of his pop. That's just going to be sitting here for the next however long it takes these things to cycle, which is pretty long. I do like this, though. To protect their investment, Matron is over-repairing them unless they get flanked out, so I suppose that is a wise thing to do if this is a strategy you're going to go with. But I really would like to see Crazy Ivan get the units that he has into a position to help his teammates, because right now it's just the howitzers and this machine gun, which has now moved up, but until now it was back here, and then these ambush rifles, which are, I mean, it's in the name. They are not meant to fight head-on like Rangers are, for example. So what's happening right now is Lieutenant Armpence's Rangers are fighting 2 players here, under fire from mortars. Now he's got his half-tracks coming up, but Snarks already has his AT gun in position. Likewise, the Panzer IV was coming up at just the wrong time for this maneuver, so they're going to have to pull back, and they take a pretty substantial amount of damage in the process. So, bit of poor effect. I will say, if Crazy Ivan manages to pull off killing this pack gun, looks like he's going to try to save his ambush rifles, and I kind of question that because of the amount of stuff that's shooting at it, right? There's no saving these guys. If the Axis really wants to commit to killing these guys, they could. I'm rather shocked that they got out, but they're going to be still mortared. If I were him, I would have tried to take the last shot to kill the AT gun, because pack guns are extremely valuable tools with the cloak shot. Very good at attritioning down vehicles. So it looks like the Panzer IV is trying to make a go for the Stuart, picking off some of these repair troops in the process. The Stuart is probably going to get away, be sort of forced back by these Piats and these Rangers. And so that's going to get back into the fight very quickly with these advanced repairs who are still alive. But it looks like overall the Axis is, and I'm not surprised about this at all, the Axis is just slowly but surely creeping up on the Allies. Just selectively taking wins here and there, where every sort of skirmish that the Allies manage to push forward is being done outnumbered, and not to great effect. Here's the next artillery barrage. We want to keep an eye on all these artillery barrages if we can, because these need to make bank in order to really be worth the pop right now. Underpants did happen upon the cloaked technocrat, so that's certainly handy. That is the Axis spotter out of the way. I do a little bit wonder why he's trying to destroy the hedgerows with his rangers when the enemy is using a pack gun, which they have repaired now. Matron's machine gun getting caught out a bit by this Panzer IV, and the stormtroopers are in position to ambush this Piat, but the machine gun is firing, so he's not going to reveal himself yet. This Panzer IV, well, yes, with the Piat gone and the Bren button gone, which I hadn't seen that be used. Maybe it was used at some point and I missed it. With all that gone, this Panzer IV is free to just eat up this here. Oh goodness, these mines. Nice mine. Free to eat up that machine gun, and it does. The Axis do have their healing on now, so healing on for both sides. The over-repair continues on these howitzers. You can see they now have nearly 100 over their maximum health, or at least this one does. It is worth noting that there is... No, it's not. I thought I saw some HP decay here. Anyway, it looks like it's the Panzer's turn to hit a mine, and unlucky for it, it's got an engine destroyed. So I suspect probably not long for this world with some new universal carriers, probably with Piats coming up. But it did manage to cover the stormtroopers to capture this Piat. So this is going to be a bit of a nuisance if Whiskey Jack can keep these guys alive, because they don't have any weapons on them. So I suspect they probably have camo smocks, which are the things we've seen before that basically makes it so they cannot buy weapons, but they are very durable. So this is basically a cloaking, super durable squad with a Piat. That's going to be a pain in the rear end if Whiskey Jack can make good use of this in the rest of this game. There goes another universal carrier. Potentially another. No casualties from the sappers, but now they're under danger from all of these other troops here. His teammates want to get these troops in here to help him out. He wants to get his own troops in there to help him out, but it looks like he's going to get away without any casualties. But the Axis definitely has a firm control over the center of this map now. The Allies are starting to be pushed back almost to in fact, to their howitzers now. These howitzers have been found. They've only gotten 2 barrages off now, with 3 kills on a light vehicle between them. So he's going to decrew these. I'll be quite honest, those should have been decrewed a while ago. They should have been decrewed a while ago and replaced with something more useful. This isn't exactly what I would have had in mind when I said that, but at least it can fight when the howitzers cannot. Sounds like there's artillery on from somebody else right now. I'm not entirely sure. Hummel? What is coming down here? Don't tell me that's another howitzer from the Allies. Surely it's not. Well, I'm sure we'll find it eventually. New Panzer IV on from Whiskey Jack to replace the one that went down. I hope he saw those mines go down for his sake. So here comes the Sherman push from Crazy Ivan, going to try to take out this Geschutzwagen if he can get the target priority straight. Geschutzwagen going to try to finish off this Sherman, and it misses. Main gun on the Geschutzwagen, that's that threat taken out. And with all of this going on, Underpants is taking the opportunity to sweep in and deal with this machine gun that was blocking the way for him. This is exactly what I'm talking about with just how important it is to have units that can fight on the field as main use of your pop, right? The moment that Crazy Ivan decrewed those howitzers and brought on tanks, look at this huge breakthrough that the Allies are making now. Well, okay, I say that. Matron has walked right into a machine gun, but they still have momentum going. They're not out of it yet. This Sherman is in a bit of a pickle, but a decent flank on this machine gun can get these troops back into the fight, and they can get this squad perhaps in the fight. Looks like the Allies are instead running out of steam, though. All this was devastating for Matron to run into this machine gun with nobody nearby to bail him out. So it looks like, with that in mind, the Axis are gonna get ready to counterattack. They're going to run into this machine gun that I'm pretty sure that was just captured, right? Yes, this is a recrew. These are not original HMG teams. So this was the machine gun that was over here that they captured and turned around. But with this Furbovent here and no hard anti-tank to stop it, it's going to force that machine gun back. All they've got is handheld AT from the Piats and the Ranger bazookas. Would like to see some hard AT from the Allies. To be honest, a nice AT gun would do wonders in this situation with all the vehicles that the Axis have been fielding. So here come the Axis again, just with their sort of slow, methodical, creeping push that they've been using earlier in the game. Just sort of probe up, find where the enemy is weak, take advantage of the fact that they are fighting in a rather sort of uncoordinated way. Just because Crazy Ivan has brought on all these reinforcements, so he was not on the field when the Axis were pushing, so they're just pushing on fewer players, as they have been before, and just slowly but surely pushing the Allies back because they don't have the troops to hold this front line at the time that the Axis are pushing, and they know it. Here comes a Cromwell from Matron. Oh my god. Alright, so one of the howitzers has... Oh my god, this is a third howitzer. This is not a relocated howitzer. This is a new howitzer. Crazy Ivan has 3 howitzers in his company. I am at a loss as to why he didn't just bring on riflemen and crew one of these. And it's another nothing barrage here for this one too. Looks like the Piat Stormtrooper managed to do quite a lot of damage to this Cromwell. I'm imagining that's him. I could totally see a cloaked Piat doing that kind of damage to a Cromwell by itself. But regardless of what caused it, this Cromwell's pretty janked up, and I am somewhat shocked to see the Allies trying to destroy this anti-tank gun rather than capture it. Even if all you have to put on it is a Bren section, like, good god dude, this is worth so many munitions compared to a Bren section, and with the number of vehicles that the Axis is fielding, being able to just nab that and turn it around is fantastic, right? Especially because what you need right now is an anti-tank gun. It's one of a handful of things you need realistically, but an anti-tank gun would go a really long way right now. As a matter of fact, they did bring one on, and they've seemed to have lost it. Wonder if the Axis are going to try to take it. They've got some Volks here. I really ought to, after this is done with, check and find out what the cooldown on the different howitzers are, just so I have a ballpark. Because, I mean, this is just sort of sitting here, and, I mean, you can just look at the map, right? So, the Underpants and Matron, right, have these sort of units just sort of scattered around here. Underpants is bringing more rifles and machine guns up. That's good. That's one of the things that you need right now to hold back all of this elite infantry from Sneakerhead, and then he needs to get these rifles on the anti-tank gun if he can before it gets destroyed, which it might do now. But these 2 guys are taking the brunt of this action here, right? Where's the red soldiers? Crazy Ivan's got some walking wounded who are walking backwards to crew a howitzer. Okay, great, love to see it. And that's about it that I see. This Sherman is also Underpants. This is all Underpants. Underpants is fighting 2 players here. I don't want to harp on this like constantly, but goodness, this is questionable. So here comes another howitzer barrage. On the mortar, Snux is doing a great job paying attention with these mortars. He's, whenever there's a howitzer barrage, he is getting halfway lucky and the other halfway doing a good job picking it up and moving it. You can see it took some damage here, but it looks like he's going to be fine. This is why I'm saying that the Allies need an anti-tank gun right now, and there is this one, and they'd been trying to get it back, but the fact that they don't seem to have any more in reserve, because that's not what they brought on, is a little bit troubling to me. Because these armored vehicles here, they're so damaged from all of the handheld anti-tank that the handheld anti-tank can't finish it off because there's 3 of them here. I bet these Zooks will probably finish this off. Okay, so good snipe there. But, like, the amount of casualties it took to do that is just not... Ooh, yeah, is just not efficient. It's not sustainable. Now there's a Bofors up from Matron, I guess to try to just sort of hold this ground and not see it anymore. But when you're digging in to hold the back third of the map, you really want to be... If your strategy is to dig in when you're losing on the population war, because the... Well, so here's the thing that confuses me actually a little bit. The Allies have a little bit more population, so there is at some point that they seem to have been ahead. I must have missed that. But what I'm getting at is the Allies are clearly at a disadvantage now. And so if your strategy is to dig in when you're at a disadvantage on territory, you want to be trading hella efficiently in attrition. Because you're going to be fighting at a unit disadvantage pretty soon as population starts to drain. Alright, so here's another artillery barrage. Looks like it got something here, I guess. I'm assuming, yeah, 3 guys. Looks like it was a mortar. So there's the really second barrage from all these howitzers that has killed anything. Well, okay, one thing here. Look at how strong Terra machine guns are. It's just insane. That one machine gun guy killed 2 people off of these 30 cal squads shooting at him because of the self accuracy buff when it shoots. But at any rate, that is a Terra machine gun now for the Allies, which is a big ol' win here. Now all they need is just some way to deal with all these armored vehicles because there is a Burger on now that's going to be repairing and reviving all of these armored vehicles. There's another machine gun for the Axis gone as well. Saw that packing up. Here comes an off-map? No, I think these are paratroopers. Yeah, these are going to be Fallschirmjägers. Hot drop right in the middle of the fight. But just at the edge of the machine gun's range, looks like he's going to get it out. Sigurd is going to want to be very careful with this spotter. He has lost one already. It's a very valuable tool. So here come the Rangers right into this. They found the Panzer IV. Yeah, I'm sure that was sort of at the edge of their line of sight there. So the Axis grip on the middle of the map here is a little bit tenuous now. They don't have it locked down quite as well as they did before, now that they've turned over a few support weapons and lost some of their own. But I still say that the Axis is in a bit of a better position here, just overall in terms of field presence. They're building this machine bunker here to get this sort of keep it locked down. We'll see how useful that comes into play right now, but you can tell they are fairly comfortable. The way that they have been playing so far, they have been... Uh-oh. Snarks, what are you doing, buddy? Oh, no. He must have given that an order and forgotten about it. That has to be a mistake. I mean, obviously a mistake, but it had to have been an accident. Underpants, you could see him moving here briefly to try to deal with that, but then he found the spotter. Now he's trying to fan out to find the spotter. So here comes another artillery barrage. This is another whiff. No kills on that barrage. How's this one over here doing? Where is it? Yeah, there's 3. Anyway, what was I saying? I don't remember. Oh yes, the Axis, I think you can tell, are because they've been fighting with their units. They have not been relying on emplacements really. You can tell now that they're sort of sitting back and repairing and building bunkers. They feel a little bit more comfortable about their position in the game here. But they know that all they need to do now that they've reached this stage in the game, where the players are all at 40 pop. As long as they just hold the middle of the map, then they'll bleed the enemy of population and start to get the advantage. So here comes another artillery barrage. It's gonna potentially knock out this bunker before it even gets to do anything. Alright. So that is 1 bunker for this howitzer to go with its couple kills. But, I mean, not really much loss there for the Axis other than some manpower and a little bit of time. Munitions? I think a little bit of munitions. I think MG bunkers are like 45. It's not that much. Oh, alright. You know, here comes an off map. This is probably a terror off map. Yeah, this is a terror because this is a terror squad here. Oh man. Those firestorm barrages are just brutal against buildings. So there goes the first round of healing for the Allies. Hopefully, the other players have some more. Smoke grenade from the stormtroopers to try to give them cover against this terror machine gun that was turned over. Now there is a sniper on from Lieutenant Underpants. Great opening shot to kill off a stormtrooper. Because these squads, wow, that is the brunt, the backbone, I should say, of Whiskey Jack's forces is stormtroopers right now. He's just using these as his mainline infantry. And you can see, this one is Vet 3. So, clearly they've been working out for him, just sort of in general of this war. Here's that AT gun that they needed like 10 minutes ago. And you can see it has just an immediate effect chasing this martyr off. And now this martyr basically can't do anything on this side of the map. It's got to shift to the right, where all it has to shoot is the Staghound, which is much more agile than the martyr. It can just sort of dip around the cover if it's used well. Axis now have control over this middle here, but the Allies are finding little holes to block it and capture things back. These Fallschirmjägers, because they are cloaked, are not blocking any of this capture here. They did reveal themselves, so they've blocked it briefly, but as long as they stay invisible, they are not going to stop this capture here. And so the Allies have slowed down the pop lead, but they are still bleeding pop. They're down to 39, so we'll see how this goes. Here comes Whiskey Jack creeping up all of his troops. Matron thinks he is advancing on an unprotected AT gun, which is trying to destroy this Bofors. And it does. I'm very much wondering what the plan is with these stormtroopers, though, because nice grenade. It's probably a bundle, but they have no way to protect the pack because there's a Staghound here. Oh, here's the artillery. Got one stormtrooper. Some damage on the armored car. Alright. I feel like I'm giving these more attention than they really deserve. What I was trying to say is I was just sort of wondering what he was planning to do with these stormtroopers up here, because with the Staghound there's no way to protect his AT gun, and now he's dropped it and been forced back. You would have liked to perhaps see a teammate bring up a martyr or something to chase off that Staghound so that he could then use the stormtroopers to chase off everything else and keep hold of the pack gun. But instead, this is just free for the taking for the Allies if they have anything that can take it. Uh-oh, here comes some saboteurs from Snarks. It's gonna get this one here. It's gonna plant two for good measure, I guess. And he's gonna get the triage station. Nice infiltration with the saboteurs from Snarks. As a matter of fact, he's going to see if he can get this away and get off another one, or perhaps stick it somewhere where it can spot, but it's certainly not going to get away. We don't need to watch this. Those Rangers are going to get it. But some great picks from these infiltrating saboteurs. Took out a howitzer and a healing station. And regardless of my just sort of opinion about howitzers in general, vis-a-vis having way too many, it's still a really good play just sort of in and of itself. So we can only hope, for the sake of the Allies, that Crazy Ivan chooses to replace that lost population with a unit that can fight in the front line. Well, we'll see what he chooses to bring up with. Brigadier keeping these tanks in tip-top shape. And here's a Blitz Panther from Whiskey Jack. Howitzer barrage coming in at super close range to try to do something to these stormtroopers, and they do. Lots of damage. There goes that guy, and these guys are surely not too far behind at these Bren squads. Does want to be careful with this Panther, though. He doesn't know if these Brens have button on them, and there's these Rangers skulking around. That's definitely dangerous. Then an Underpants getting a hold of this AT gun here and putting it into position to... this is a bit of an awkward, though, because there's all these shot blockers here. It's not actually going to do anything from here to shoot at these armored cars. And these armored cars, I think, probably got the sniper. I have not been keeping track of the sniper, as I tend to not. And they all die, but we'll switch to the allies real quick and see. I don't know whose sniper was. I think it was Underpants, right? Yeah, Underpants doesn't have a sniper, so there we go. The sniper has been picked, but in the back, it's Whiskey Jack with the Panther. In the dining room with the lead pipe. Whiskey Jack with the Panther took out the howitzer in the back, so their allies are now down to just one howitzer, which is a sentence that, honestly, I don't enjoy saying. I'm sure the Axis feel like these howitzers have been a pain. It's not fun being on the receiving end of a whole ton of artillery barrages and feeling like there's nothing you can do about it. But realistically, these howitzers have not done that much. They've gotten a few kills here and there, and, you know, some of the kills are pretty alright kills, but for the pop, right, still just sort of operating on the assumption that they're 7 each, right? 7, 14, 21 pop, that's half of the population of one of the players just sitting in the back as artillery. That's letting the Axis do things exactly like what Whiskey Jack just did, which is just slip around the back and do things like that because the allies are just spread too thin to hold a front line. There's just so many holes in their front line. So now you can see Matron has come and responded to that, but the point sort of remains. So here comes another tank rush from Crazy Ivan. Really sort of living up to his name here, I think. So we'll see if his teammates are able to help. There's an M10 as part of this rush, but Matron is just going to sit back. You want to see him move everything he has to engage with this attack. Come on, team. Come on, team. We got the Rangers in here, going for the Burger-Tiger, going for the Sniper. Sniper hasn't revealed itself yet. Friendly fire artillery barrage takes out one of the Shermans, it looks like. So, great use of the howitzer there, boys. Anyway, oh, now all the Brit units are getting going. Berg is immobilized. He's got these Piats in here. This Panther is in danger, but the Sherman is surely done for here. Yeah, there it goes. And the Piats had gotten bogged down in this Berg. They're going to try to finish this off before it can get itself out of here. Which is probably a wise move. You don't want to be facing constantly recycled tanks when you work so hard to kill them. So, Snarks managed to thread the needle with his sniper there and avoid getting detected. So nicely done. That is not an easy thing to do in chaos like that. Allies are going to recrew this anti-tank gun and start bringing it forward, which is a dangerous thing to do with the sniper here. And Snarks does recognize this opportunity. He's going to just try to pick off that crew. Crazy Ivan screening with these rifles just to try to chase it off, but honestly with his teammate here, he can afford to take that shot, and he does. So there's that AT gun gone. The Panther is free to move up again as far as he knows. There is another pack gun here that has been captured, so that's something that he definitely wants to watch out for. But with the way the line of sight is here, and with his stormtroopers just sort of screening, somebody's all on field. Whiskey Jack is all on field. Well, let's take a minute to look at the... Oh, he's got a real small company. Let's take a minute to look at everyone's reserves here, shall we? Snarks has got 2 platoons left out of 20. Sneakerhead's got a whole lot of stuff. And Sneakerhead is the Luftwaffe ground forces. So I suppose in a way that tracks, because Sneakerhead is playing with elite infantry, and it's not perhaps uncommon to see Fallschirmjägers get sort of stretched to their maximum limit and just sort of recycled all game, especially when you have a healing half-track, which I don't see anymore. Maybe that got taken out? No, here it is. No, that's a sniper half-track. half-track for a sniper. Whiskey Jack, his last call-in is a sniper. So anyway, or perhaps for the time, because Underpants, digging into the bottom of his company as well, is pulling out his anti-sniper call-in, which is just right the heck here as the sniper comes on. So Whiskey Jack's investment in this half-track is paying off, and these Jeeps are gonna be forced back. No joy today, but the artillery barrage is going to come in and try to destroy the half-track. Oh my god, there's another Howak. Oh my gosh. There's an obvious question here, and I'm not going to ask it because I don't want to know the answer. I'm just going to pretend that I didn't see that. Alright. Ooh, let's see if the Allies score a Panzerschreck here. They don't, but they took one off the board, so that's always good. So, Whiskey Jacks now feels safe to start using his sniper with all of that crazy hotness done with. The Jeeps haven't been forced back for the time being, and the artillery barrage survived. Definitely getting his mileage out of this half-track, for sure. Here comes another artillery barrage. Now that he's opened up, they know where it is. Oh, he hasn't opened up yet. It's just the one kill. It's just a guess, I guess? I think he's probably going to get away. Yeah. Because the Allies have line of sight on this area, so this is a very low scatter barrage. Here comes the Verbelwind. Where's those anti-tank guns, Allies? Where's those anti-tank guns? Speaking of anti-tank guns, Snarks is sneaking one up, trying to get some shots perhaps on these Jeeps, perhaps on the Firefly. It's a target-rich environment, but it's also a bit of a dangerous thing to do because these Jeeps can easily flank out this anti-tank gun. It's going for the Cromwell Command Tank. Interesting choice, but not necessarily a bad one, because the Cromwell Command Tank is a very potent unit to go with the Firefly, because the Cromwell Command Tank gives just enough range bonus to the Firefly that lets it outrange a Panther, which makes it basically just sort of hard counter the Panther. But if you can take out the Command Tank, then it's a much more even fight. In fact, I'd go so far as to say it gives the Panther the edge. But it looks like he's gonna get away just barely for the time being. And they're just over-repairing this Sherman Firefly. Well, it's just sort of sitting here, and the Axis has control of these AT guns. There's not a whole lot this Firefly can do in the face of this anti-tank gun, which is not really going to stop Lieutenant Underpants. He is being fearless with this M10, trying to find the blind spots in its line of sight, and he does. I'm not entirely sure what he managed to get here. He's got one kill on it. Anyway, he's almost out. Let's finish looking at the rest of the units that the Allies have. So Matron is all on. So this Firefly and these troops here are, which really barely count as troops, or what he's got left. Crazy Ivan. Crazy Ivan with 6 of 9 platoons used. So he is, on the one hand, still got about a third of his company left. On the other hand, he's only got about 3 platoons left. I don't think you need me to lecture on the problem or problems with this approach to company building. I think it speaks for itself. So we will just have to hold out for that crazy unexpected Allied victory that they pull out from nowhere that really just sort of proves me wrong in some kind of way. So here comes another artillery barrage. What's it gonna get? Nothing. This Panther has been doing pretty okay for himself. 6 light vehicles and 4 tanks. I'm sure at least one of these is probably a weapon, because weapon emplacements count as tanks. Another artillery barrage. Another artillery barrage. Oh, he got the sniper! Oh no! Well, alright. Howitzer did one useful thing. Alright, well, that's a big problem for Whiskey Jack, because the sniper is sort of his main tool to escort his Panther. The Panther backs up the sniper, and the sniper backs up the Panther, essentially. The sniper sort of deals with important units that the Panther cannot deal with, because the Panther is primarily an anti-vehicle platform. It's got a powerful gun that's good against vehicles and not so good against things that aren't vehicles. So the sniper kills things like anti-tank guns and machine guns and so on to clear the way for himself and his teammates, and then the Panther comes in and cleans up the rest. Without the sniper, he's just gonna go for it. He's just gonna fucking go for it. Pardon my French, boys and girls, but he's spotting with his stormtroopers, and you can see here just the power of the Firefly when augmented by the Cromwell command tank. You see the penetration on that, you see the range. It's very strong. So here's a pack. There's artillery barrage on the pack. I'm begging you, Axis, please win this game. Do not make a fool of me right now. So there goes the anti-tank gun. The pack gun. It's destroyed, it looks like. Whiskey Jack pulling this stormtrooper. Wants to preserve the vet, I guess. Or Whiskey Jack at this stage. I mean, it hurts to lose a vet to a unit, but you gotta make use of everything you got left at this point. Because he's all on, been all on for a while, and now that he's down to just one unit, that is a pretty big advantage for the Allies, who, for the most part, you can see, well, with one main exception, have a decent amount of stuff on the field, even if they are largely out of reserves. Whereas the Axis are down to just this Panther, and nothing to repair it, I don't believe. This Martyr, and nothing to repair it. This Verbovend, and nothing to repair it, and a new sniper from Snarks. So this sniper is gonna make some MLG Pro plays here if the Axis are gonna pull this out. And I hate that I want to call this for the Allies right now. I really just am upset about it. But I think the Allies have this in hand. The one thing that the Axis has going for them is that Sneakerhead has a lot of stuff left in his company. I don't know where it is. I guess it was all tied up here. Realistically, if I were Sneakerhead, you know the Allies have this Firefly. Hindsight is 20/20, right? But I'm keeping track of a lot of stuff here in my defense. If I were Sneakerhead, the Allies have a Firefly. And I have two busted up tanks that I can't repair. Just pull these things off. Suicide them or pull them off and replace them with infantry. Or an 88, apparently. Oh man, I can see why he never brought this on until now. With all this artillery, this is really sort of nothing but a liability, but you gotta work with what you gotta work with, I guess. So, Snarks taking shots at Rangers under fire. That's definitely, you know, you're sort of a do-or-die moment here, right? If you get shots at Rangers at this stage of the game, you gotta take it, because Rangers are very powerful units to have when everyone's just sort of out of stuff. They're beefy, they're strong, they can take on lots of different types of units. Look at all these craters and these explosions. I feel like I'm watching a game of War Game, Red Dragon or something, somebody playing a support company. Alright, here come the Rangers. Got an AT gun. But there's the 88, destroys the AT gun. So that's one less tool for the Allies to deal with the Panther. This is what it really comes down to, folks. If the Axis can destroy all of the Allied anti-tank assets before the Allies can destroy the Panther, they win. And if the opposite happens, then the opposite is true. So this is still anyone's game, but what is occurring here? What is occurring here? What is occurring here? Crazy Ivan. Crazy Ivan still has stuff left. That's right. Crazy Ivan still has stuff left. So he's going to do these barrages on the 88, probably decrew it, pull this off, and bring on... God, if it's more tanks, I'm going to scream. Okay, it's infantry. These might be the first actual proper riflemen I've seen from him all game. Leave it in the comments if I'm wrong, but Okay. So let's take a quick stock of all of the decrewed anti-tank guns on the map. Because I think this is what it's going to come down to. They did not destroy the 88, but Underpants still has his howitzer, and if they really want to, they can crew their howitzers again with these riflemen. So, Snark's playing brave with this sniper, trying to spot the Firefly. I don't see any anti-tank guns. So, the problem is, goodness, this is a lot of rifles that they've just sort of held onto for the end here. And the scout car is locked down. It's going to suppress all that, but the Firefly is here. I think what the Axis need to do is fall back to the support range of this Flak 88. They're going to have to cede some territory to do that, but as long as they have this thing augmenting their position, the Firefly is much less of a threat to the scout car. The scout car can protect the sniper. The sniper might be about to get found, and if that happens, that's going to be game. Oh, he's going to shoot. He's going to shoot. He shot. Oh, here's the rifle rush on the 88, so probably should have seen that coming, really. I'm very angry. Ah! And I'm not angry anymore. Nice one, Underpants. Give the sniper with the ranger. Snarks is being very greedy with that sniper. Bazookas and Panzerschrecks both have like a, I want to say like 300% damage modifier against snipers. So like, rangers with bazookas, don't assume that you're safe at close range against a one-man ranger with a bazooka. Good God. All right. Well, the Allies have this one. If someone had told me before I watched this that in a 3 versus 3, an allied player brought a company with, what is it, 5, 6 howitzers and 9 total call-ins, together with another infantry player who also has a howitzer of their own, and they won, I would have told them that they were lying to me. But you saw it here, folks. I want to give big, mad shoutouts to Matron and Underpants for holding that front line 2-on-3 for almost the entire game, which let crazy Ivan just soak up pop with his artillery and then come in the big hero at the end with his rifles. Commiseration to the Axis. It was a well-fought loss. This was a singular game, folks, and I think the ending insta-gib on the sniper has put me in a much better mood. So, goodness gracious, only in... I was gonna say only in Company Heroes, but really, I don't know. This was... I feel like this isn't a thing that should be only in Company Heroes. This is a thing that just shouldn't be. This is just... Alright, well, the game's over. No sense in waiting for the surrender timer, so... There we go. Boys and girls and friends from beyond the binary. That was this game. I'm in disbelief a little bit, but I'm glad to have watched it, I guess. That's this one. I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.